let's say, and you said, we need to meet on this date, or that date, then that would be something, in my mind, that you would write down, right? And then from there, excuse me, to me, right, in my work, I would say, to me, that's partial compliance. Because there's a goal that's being sought, and there is a methodology and a process that's being engaged, and that would be in your work. No, that would be data that would be accessible. It would be, thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think some places where no data available was listed was for a paragraph that had of the agreement that had multiple aspects. So some aspects of that paragraph of what's covered, we did have some information on. There might be a particular aspect where we didn't. So we tried to include that information in there. So just because no data was available on a particular aspect of that paragraph, we may have had data or information for the other concepts in that paragraph. So it gets tricky. But to break out the paragraphs into even more pieces would give you about a 300-400 page report, and then we'd be kind of going the other way with making it too detailed for people to actually be able to consume. But we could certainly look at categories and kind of scoring that way.
It sounds like you'd also like to have some input from COAB on their thoughts about that gradation. Okay. Jimmy?
Yeah, what I see with partial compliance and compliance, I can see when you say there's partial compliance, and it'd be a good thing to have some really bullet points, and it's just one line, it's a half a line, but there's partial compliance with the community engagement, for example. When I've been working with the police bureau and the heads of the bureau on certain things, and just make a one sentence on that. Partial, so whatever there's a partial or whole or allow compliance, give a bullet point, just one bullet for an example to show why you made that call.
Yeah.
And I don't think I really looked at the report yet.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a really good point. We will do that. And this next report, there was more of that going on. But frankly, I'm not reluctant to say that the level of community engagement on the part of the police bureau during that time period when this report was done was not very impressive. And that was just something, that's a reality. And I think that is kind of reflected in the words of what we said. But there was an attempt to have meetings, a town hall meeting that didn't go so well. There were various, but in terms of the actual attending the meetings and that sort of, we have people like Captain Marshman and others that regularly participate as well as the COAB members, but there are still issues there about getting everybody involved, and I think that's, I'm not afraid to say that.
So I think this is a wonderful, robust decision about gradations and quantifiable and qualitative analysis, data, and metrics. One thing that I specifically recall was a sort of a real issue with some people on the COAB about your report being so long. And so I kind of just want to put a little marker out there that, above all, relationships are the most important thing here in the COAB and in the community. And so going forward, when you guys present your 150, or I hope 300 page, or whatever, that describes what's going on, that the people in the COAB and the people in the community can be thankful and appreciative that Rosenbaum and Watson are sharing their data and their metrics.
Okay, one more thing from Ine, and then we're going to move on. Was the issue of making categories considered or adopted is the question. We had a detailed discussion with specific examples at the April meeting, and Amy Watson was present. I'm not sure if that was a mental health subcommittee meeting or more specific. Okay, yeah, she just making categories more specific. So that's another recommendation.
For making basically more than partial compliance, substantial compliance. Right, and we're trying to be consistent with the DOJ reports as well that use categories. That way it's a little bit easier for the public to look at kind of are we assessing things similarly to DOJ, and I believe we actually have maybe an additional category beyond what DOJ has. But again, that's something that we can continue to discuss and take feedback on and look at as we move forward so that the reports are useful to the community.
Thank you. If there are no more COAB questions, we're going to move into public comment time. And I have people signed up, and that's what I'm going to start with this list here. Crystal Ilinsky.